was looking through some patterns that I had made in 2015 and I came across this little oven glove that looks like an owl, and I showed it to a friend and she said, oh, that would be a good thing, I'd like to see that demonstrated. So today I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it in a slightly brighter fabric, but it's an excellent idea for your stalls or for gifts or even in Christmas. So get together some fabrics. You'll need a main fabric and a contrasting fabric and wadding. Just a few basic tips before we start. Because this is going to be used on a hot surface, you must have some insulated wadding. It's a Insulbright, this one is. So it's like a wadding on the back, and it has a silver side that prevents you from being burned on the other side, and some lightweight wadding as well. Now, the only reason you need that is your hand will go in here, so you've got the insulated wadding on the main glove piece, and that protects your hand from the heat. The top of the glove can be made from lightweight wadding. So that's just one hint. The second one is that when you cut the bias binding, it must be bias, because this is straight binding, has no give. And this is being cut on the bias, and if you look, it has just that little bit of stretch in that will go nicely around the curves when you come to putting that on. So you will need those two things. You'll also need a 12.5-inch piece across your fabric of your main glove pattern, which you're going to cut these from. And you'll need smaller pieces. They're all the sizes are on the pattern. You'll need smaller pieces that will be the top of your glove, which you will cut out the fabrics and the lightweight wadding that will go on the top, just like that. So let's make a start. The templates, as I said, are all in the pattern. So to begin with, you will cut out, you can either use 2 pieces of the insulated wadding, but you must put the silver sides together. In this one, I'm using 1 piece of insulated wadding and a piece of lightweight wadding pinned together in the shape of the owl glove. I've pinned that together, and I've cut 1 piece each of the top. You remember it goes like that. 1 piece each of the lightweight wadding for the top pieces. From your main fabric, you'll cut again the pattern. I'll just move that a little bit across so you can see it better. You'll cut the 2 pieces for the main glove, and from the contrasting fabric you will cut 2 pieces of the larger size and 1 of the smaller. You will also have to make your bias binding. I've done it in the main fabric because I think I like it better, but you will need a little bit as well of, you will need a little bit of, to make a tag, just a little bit as well. But like I said, all the sizes, there are far too many different sizes for me to tell you here, but they're all on the pattern and it's very easy to follow. This will be for the tag. So you've got your bias binding, you've got your wadding cut, and you've got your main body cut and the top glove cut. And also on the pattern there are some eyes. So I put them here. So you can have them positioned whichever way you want, and the little beak. Now this one I did the eyes straight on, but you can put the eyes any which way you want. I mean, they can make them look really quite cheeky if you'd rather put them looking one side. So that's the first thing. 2 pieces of the wadding, the main fabric, the top fabric, and this, of course, these little applique pieces must be cut from fusible webbing. So I've used white and black. You could use any colour you choose, of course, to make it look a bit bright and cheerful. So, and your bias binding, the piece of straight binding, and we're all set to go together. So now you've got to think about how much bulk you're going to have, because sometimes when you get lots of wadding, 2 pieces of wadding, it can create quite a bit of bulk, and you don't want that because you're going to have to stitch binding onto the top. So all I did was I put the 2 pieces together. I've got the lightweight wadding there and the insulated wadding, and I've just zigzagged around the edge just to flatten that out and pressed it so that it actually will be much easier to sew together. So the first body piece I have cut and laid right side down on my table. Now this is the insole bright side, this is the lightweight wadding side. Put that on the top, line it up, and put the other part on the top there. And you are going to zigzag again just around the edge, just to bring the bulk in and to keep that set nicely into place. I've zigzagged all the way around the edge, it makes it nice and firm, so you stitch it. Now you can, if you want, quilt just some straight lines. I did on the this one, on the green one, I quilted down on the sides. It doesn't really make much difference. If you look at this, the red one I did, it's just quite firm. It's not that far from seam to seam, so you'd be all right whichever you choose to do. So that's your main body piece. I'm a little bit out on here, as you will see, but that's okay because it's going to come in my 1/4 inch seam, so it doesn't matter. So that's the main body part is now finished, and the next one we're going to do is this one. So again, put one of our pieces right side down, put the lightweight wadding on the top of that, and then the top piece on the top of that. Do that for both pieces, but this time just stitch 1/8 of an inch just to secure these together. Line them up, they do fit, so line them up and stitch 1/8 of an inch all the way around just to hold it in place. I've stitched the 1/8 of an inch around on the top piece, the bigger piece, and this piece that tucks underneath. The next step is to put the binding on. So the binding, which I've cut on the bias, I'm going to pin on here. Raw edges together, remember. Line it up, pin it all the way around. All the way around, and stitch it on. When you've either put it to the back, or if you've sewn your binding on the back first and top stitched, then trim off these pieces in line with this. Trim them off so they fit. Do the same on this piece that goes underneath, on this bottom edge. Put another piece on the bottom edge. And remember, if you have trouble binding, I have a couple of handy hints. It's handy hint number 1 and handy hint number 6, and you can easily get some good little tips on there how to put your binding on. Then I'm going to, once I've done that, I actually did a spare one so that you could see. So that's your piece there, which will eventually go on the top. Before it can go on the top, we have to put on the applique. So cut out your applique using the fusible webbing and using the templates. Position them where you want on here. You can put the eyes looking one way, maybe. So position those where you want, press them on, keep them equal sides, equal distance from the sides, and position them. Now you can, if you want, stitch it on the top piece first, and then we're going to join these two pieces together by top stitching along the line, or as I did, I actually stitched along there first to make one piece, and then I put the applique on purely because it then made it more stable, more thicker. So that's the next step. I'll come back when I've put a binding on the one we're doing and the applique on. My applique is on. I put my eyes to the left just to make him look a little bit more cheeky, and I did it this time on this red one. I actually stitched all the way through, but on this one I stitched on the big piece first and then stitched the top to the bottom, and I think that's just easier if you want less bulk underneath your machine. So I've done that and stitched the back piece on along the seam line, as I said, the binding line. So what remains to be done now is we've got to line this one up and pin it top to the bottom. Going to pin it. Now I do actually secure it with just a little 1/8 of an inch stitch, just this top piece on the sides here, because it's less bulk. You're going to put a tag in here on the back, so you need that secured as well. So a little 1/8 of an inch stitch line around there too. Now your tag is just another piece of the 2.5 inch strip. I've folded it in half, folded the edges to the middle. That one goes over, press it, 1/8 of an inch stitched on both sides. That makes a nice strong tag, which will go underneath, and you'll stitch that on after you've stitched the first of your binding on the top. I'm stitching on the top and I'm going to hand sew to the back. So you've got that all ready. Now, because you had 12.5 inches across your fabric to start with that you cut your body pieces out of, you can easily now, this is double of course, and you can easily cut your bias strips, which as handy hint, if you look at the handy hints number 1, as I said, and number 6, it will tell you how to cut it and how to sew on your binding. You've got plenty of fabric then to do that. So the next step, as I said, is binding on. Just going to stitch on there, binding on, come back, put the tag on, and then I'll show you how it can be finished off. I just thought I would show you this before we finish off. I've stitched my binding on the top here, but this is quite a funny little angle, the ear piece. So when you come to this corner, when you're mitering, you need to line up here. It's a little bit too much. Line your miter up with this line here that comes around there. So it's going to be this piece lined up here, and then you'll continue to stitch, you point it out, along here, and that you'll get the right angle at the top. You'll get this little nice little miter just on the corner there. So line it up, because it's not square, line it up with this curve here, this piece here. I've stitched it on all the way around, and like I said, before I hand stitch the back, I just stitched the tag this way down across that stitch line of my binding. And now all I will do is pin that. Just put a pin in here. Catch that in when I hand stitch. I've put my pins in all the way around because I'm going to hand stitch it. You probably can't see this, but I managed to get the join on my binding right on the tip of the owl ear, but it's worked out all right. If you see, nobody is going to see. I've actually got a seam just here and a miter across there, but that's fine. It's worked out really well. So all I'm going to do now is hand stitch the binding to the back, catching in this. I will make sure it goes all the way through to keep that on, and then that will be the tag on. Then we will be finished. So the oven glove, the oven mitt is finished. The hand obviously goes in there. I stitched the binding to the back, caught in the little tag here, and that completes him. So there you go. He's all ready for somebody's hand to go in. So here's our finished little oven glove. I think he looks very cheerful. He almost looks cheeky. And it's really been fun making him. I'm going to do some more. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, remember, give us a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and then you'll get all the patterns and projects that I'm doing. You'll get them straight away. So go along to the Etsy shop as well, because the pattern for him is in the Etsy shop with all my other patterns, and there's plenty to look at. So I'd like to have all your feedback. I'm always interested in what you think about what's in the Etsy shop. So join me next time for another project, and thank you for watching today.